Hey everyone, so presently I'm developing a series reviewing a fantastic book on artificial intelligence. It's entitled 2084 by Professor John Lennox. And there's a slight disclaimer I have to make here. He's a Christian and I'm not, so we obviously have some differences here. But I respect this man so much and think he's absolutely brilliant. In this video, we're going to be talking about the doctrine that undergirds the rapid development of artificial intelligence. The gospel is known as transhumanism. So coming up, I'm going to be defining that word and detailing that while the motivations behind it are undeniably virtuous, there are nevertheless many reasons for caution. Let's get right into it. Okay, so what is transhumanism? In his book, John Lennox points out that the word originated back in the early 19th century, but in recent decades, it's taken on something of a techno-secular dimension, as opposed to its initial religious use. Nick Bostrom defines transhumanism as the intellectual and cultural movement that affirms the possibility and desirability of fundamentally improving the human condition through applied reason, especially by developing and making widely available technologies to eliminating age and greatly enhance human intellectual, physical, and psychological capabilities, unquote. Well, and I can hear you asking this, what could possibly be harmful about all that? And the answer is nothing, not really anything in itself, but the devil's always in the details. The subtext of this gospel, especially the medium through which it's most likely to be delivered now, frequently spells out a far less Edenic condition than we may have initially signed up for. And that delivery system is going to be through artificial general intelligence. You may have heard about a couple of terms floating around over the past decade or so, like the intelligence explosion, or a more common one like the singularity. And while it is techno-utopians like Ray Kurzweil who've popularized this concept, here's what I.J. Good predicted way back in 1963. He wrote, "Let an ultra-intelligent machine be defined as a machine that can far surpass all the intellectual activities of any man, however clever. Since the design of machines is one of these intellectual activities, an ultra-intelligent machine could design even better machines. There would then unquestionably be an intelligence explosion, and the intelligence of man would be far left behind. The first ultra-intelligent machine is the last invention man need ever make," unquote. And it's not hard to see that this is putting us more and more in touch with robotic computerized technologies. Not only is everything becoming more automated, but linked into the Internet of Things. Wi-Fi connectivity is ubiquitous now. Even many people's kitchen appliances are plugged in. But with some of the technologies coming out now, such as Elon Musk's hobby horse Neuralink and other medical devices, it's not difficult to see many of Ray Kurzweil's predictions coming to fruition, or at least feasible. I realize Ray Kurzweil has some pretty weird ideas, but he's no idiot, and this would mark the advent of cyborg technologies. This will, or should be, the principal method of delivering that transhumanist utopia, to eliminate aging and greatly enhance human intellectual, physical, and psychological capacities. Again, in the words of Bostrom, quoted earlier. Stop right there. Hold up. All right, peeps, so I'm just going to interrupt for a second right here. I want to show you something. You see that ratio? Look at that. 86%. 86 freaking percent of you watching are not subscribed. Why don't you like me? What are you even doing anyways? So the next time we see this little animation, what are we going to do? Damn straight. Okay, I hate to have to set you straight like that, but it's for your own good. I don't want to have this conversation again, you understand? Anyways, as I was saying. Now here's the point. This is precisely where your personal worldview and the zeitgeist of our collective society is so profoundly relevant. Look, most of us are not staunchly opposed to this program. I mean, technologically speaking, pacemakers are cyborg technology. There's nothing wrong with it in itself, but what kind of privacy concerns will be opened up with Neuralink, for instance, where your brain can be plugged into a network or device? These advancements don't take long to proliferate, you know. I mean, look at how mobile phones and social media have complicated privacy issues far more rapidly than we're able to anticipate and keep up with them. And it would make sense, I mean, this isn't hard to imagine, that with the rise of its popularity, thought crime would be a conceivable reality. Not only that, but if you think surveillance capitalism is alarming for how invasive it is, how much more so if you're constantly plugged in, almost telepathically? Surveillance capitalism and surveillance communism are both topics we'll be getting into in other videos. Simply put though, surveillance capitalism is what we see when Amazon and YouTube, among others, inundate you with content and advertisements based on your viewing or purchasing preferences. But that's not even the most profound question that's raised by one's worldview. The goal here is to make man homo deus, or immortal, a god essentially. Well, what do you do if you're a materialist atheist who despises the scourge of death and wishes to do away with it? On the one hand, this would be liberating, wouldn't it? On the other hand, what if you're religious or subscribe to some form of idealism, holding consciousness as fundamental? This would be completely unnatural. Or here's another dimension. What if you're a functionalist who believes that the only criterion to qualify a thing as conscious is that it exhibits behaviors or functions of conscious organisms? I talked about this in what's called the Turing test in another video. Well, what if this is your attitude towards the matter? We may be sacrificing the very thing that makes us human and life worthwhile. So you see, AI alarmism is not altogether unjustified. It's not all about the fear of some iRobot scenario where a bunch of androids subject humanity to serfdom or eliminate them entirely even. There are far more numerous complicated questions than that. I want to reiterate, I do have differences with Professor John Lennox. He's a Christian and I'm not. But he is perceptive and on point when he says the following words, and this is also the centerfold remark in his book. He writes, "If programmers are informed by relativistic or biased ethics, the same will be reflected in their products. For that reason, it's surely important that those with transcendent ethical convictions should have a seat at the ethics table when discussing the potential problems of AI." Unquote. Now bear in mind, when Professor Lennox uses the term transcendent ethics, I think it would be very out of character for him to flout unchristian attitudes as immoral. I believe what he means by transcendent ethics are deontological morals, or an ethics that's not grounded in reductionism, naturalism, and utilitarianism. These worries concerning artificial intelligence are inescapably worldview dependent. So in sum, transhumanism is basically noble and a lofty pursuit. I'm not arguing against it. But just like all or most ideologies, it's not without some extremely troubling implications here. Now tell me what you think of that below in the comments. Is transhumanism a worthwhile goal? And do you believe death is natural and necessary? Join the conversation, because if Ray Kurzweil is correct, all of this is coming to a theater near you. Until next time. Hey everyone, I hope you liked this video. We put up some incredibly transformative content on this channel. If you want more like the one you just watched, click the suggested video on this screen. Make sure you subscribe, and to connect with me on my other platforms, my handles are linked below in the description, alright? Take care, peeps. Till next time.